We've all been bombarded with a lot of problems lately, including that of financial burden. Closely affected or not, we should still take part in addressing these issues as part of the community. Hi, everyone. For today's video, I want to share with you what Steve Forbes has said is the only way that the U.S. economy can get out of the ditch. So let's get started. In today's economic landscape, the need for innovative solutions to lift us out of our current challenges and lead us towards prosperity is paramount. This is what Steve Forbes, the author of the terrific book on inflation, emphasized in his talk, saying,
Well, that's the thing. The only way we're going to get out of the ditch we're in today is by prosperity. Anyone who knows a balance sheet, liabilities become less of a problem. The asset side is growing. That's what happened in the 1980s, and it can happen again.
Let us break down the terminologies that Forbes mentioned so you can grasp what he meant when he said it. Well, my friends, balance sheets are vital tools for assessing an entity's financial health. They provide a snapshot of assets, liabilities, and equity at a specific point in time. Assets represent what is owned, while liabilities denote what is owed. Just like the dueling partners of finance, the difference between assets and liabilities is equity, which serves as an indicator of overall financial stability. During periods of economic downturn, liabilities often become significant obstacles to recovery. The burden of debt can impede growth and hinder investment. A prime example is the Great Recession of 2008, where high levels of debt, particularly in the housing market, resulted in widespread defaults, foreclosures, and a contraction in credit availability. The resulting economic downturn had far-reaching consequences, affecting businesses, households, and the broader economy. I bet when this happens, people will be scratching their heads and rummaging through their pockets for spare change. Well, anyways, efficient management of liabilities is crucial for economic recovery. Policies aimed at reducing and restructuring debts can alleviate the burden on individuals and organizations, freeing up resources for productive activities. Measures such as debt forgiveness programs, refinancing options, and restructuring agreements provide relief to borrowers, enabling them to regain financial stability and contribute to economic growth. To understand the potential of asset growth in driving economic prosperity, we can draw parallels with the economic landscape of the 1980s. This period witnessed significant economic transformation and expansion, particularly in countries like the United States. Policies that promoted asset accumulation, entrepreneurship, and investment in sectors such as technology, finance, and real estate fueled economic growth. Consequently, employment rates increased, income levels rose, and overall prosperity was achieved. The Reagan administration's emphasis on supply-side economics and deregulation during the 1980s is a notable example. Tax cuts and reduced regulatory burdens created a favorable environment for businesses to thrive. This, in turn, stimulated investment and innovation, leading to an expansion of the asset side of balance sheets across various sectors. The economic boom of the 1980s demonstrates the potential for asset growth to drive economic recovery and prosperity. Real-life examples further support the argument that asset growth plays a pivotal role in economic revival. Countries like Germany and South Korea, known for their export-oriented economies, have successfully navigated economic challenges by leveraging their assets. They took the world by storm, flexing their export muscles and turning their assets into gold mines. It's like they said, why keep our amazing products all to ourselves when we can share the awesomeness with the rest of the world and watch our economies soar? By focusing on industrial development, innovation, and export promotion, these nations have expanded their asset bases and achieved sustained economic growth. While all these sound like a perfect picture taken, unfortunately, the U.S. administration's going in the opposite direction.
Unfortunately, this administration is going in the opposite direction.
While it was previously stated the potential benefits of rebalancing balance sheets and fostering asset growth, it is crucial to consider alternative viewpoints when assessing the current direction of the U.S. administration. Despite the ideal vision of economic recovery, there are arguments, just like Forbes, suggesting that the U.S. administration may be moving in the opposite direction. Firstly, critics argue that the U.S. administration's approach to fiscal policy has been counterproductive to economic recovery. While rebalancing balance sheets is essential, concerns arise when examining the country's increasing national debt. The implementation of expansive fiscal measures, such as tax cuts and increased government spending, has contributed to a ballooning deficit. This excessive debt burden may impede economic growth in the long run, hindering the potential benefits of asset growth and exacerbating financial vulnerabilities. Moreover, critics contend that the current administration's approach to regulation and trade policies may hinder asset growth and impede economic revival. While deregulation can stimulate economic activity, excessive deregulatory measures may weaken consumer protection and increase financial risks. Furthermore, the imposition of trade tariffs and trade disputes may disrupt global supply chains and limit market access for U.S. businesses, stifling their ability to expand assets and hindering overall economic growth. Furthermore, skeptics question the administration's commitment to inclusive economic policies. Economic recovery should not only focus on asset growth, but also prioritize addressing income inequality and ensuring equitable access to opportunities. Critics and people alike argue that the administration's emphasis on tax cuts that disproportionately benefit the wealthy, combined with proposed cuts to social welfare programs, may exacerbate income disparities and hinder economic mobility for disadvantaged populations. This approach, they argue, runs counter to the goal of achieving broad-based prosperity. You know what's worse, according to Forbes?
Government is supposed to serve, do they understand that word, the people rather than dominate the people.
Critics argue that excessive government intervention, regulation, and bureaucracy can stifle individual initiative, hinder economic freedom, and impede economic recovery. They're not letting individuals spread their wings and soar with a mountain of paperwork and suffocating rules. By reducing the role of the government and promoting a more laissez-faire approach, proponents believe that individuals and businesses will have the freedom and flexibility to drive economic growth and prosperity. Historical examples can shed light on the potential consequences of government dominance. For instance, the socialist policies pursued by various countries in the past, such as the Soviet Union, Cuba, and Venezuela, have been associated with economic stagnation, inefficiency, and limited individual freedoms. Critics argue that excessive government control, central planning, and nationalization of industries can hinder innovation, discourage entrepreneurship, and impede the growth of assets. These examples serve as cautionary tales, highlighting the potential dangers of government dominance in economic affairs. Furthermore, proponents of limited government intervention argue that excessive regulations can create barriers to entry, particularly for small businesses and entrepreneurs. Excessive bureaucracy and red tape can hamper innovation, restrict competition, and discourage investment. This argument suggests that a more streamlined and business-friendly regulatory environment can foster asset growth, encourage entrepreneurship, and drive economic recovery. In the context of the United States, critics point to specific policies and actions of the current administration as evidence of government dominance. By striking a balance between various considerations and adopting a comprehensive approach, it is possible to pave the way towards a prosperous future that benefits individuals, societies, and the global community as a whole. What do you think about this topic? Let me know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Finance Soon channel. I'll see you in the next video.